All right, welcome back. Let's go ahead and look at some methods or approaches from loading data from a CSV file. You're going to need to learn how to load data before you can train it on a machine learning model. When starting out, it's a good idea to stick with small in-memory data sets. Using standard file formats like this CSV or comma separated values document. A CSV is a comma separated values document. It's the standard file format for small data sets in machine learning. In its simplest terms, CSV files are comprised of rows of data. Each row is divided into columns by a comma, hence the name comma separated document. So our first step here is going to be able to load the CSV file. We're going to use a CSV module that's part of the standard library. The reader function is a CSV module that takes a file as the argument. You can create a function called loadCSV to wrap this behavior that's going to take the file name and return the dataset. You're going to represent the loaded dataset in a list of files. The first list is a list of observations of rows, and the second list is a list of columns of values for a given row. On screen is the complete function for loading the CSV file. We're going to test this function by loading the Pima Indian diabetes dataset. We're going to take a look at the first 5 rows, and we should see the following data. The data is numeric and is separated by commas, and we can expect the whole file meets this expectation. Let's go ahead and use the function and load the dataset. Once it's loaded, you can report on some simple details, such as the number of rows and columns loaded. Let's go ahead and put all this together using Python, as shown on screen. When you do that, you're going to get a return that says loading the file Pima Indian's diabetes dataset with 768 rows and 9 columns. Now, a limitation of this function is that it's going to load the empty lines from the data files and then add them to our list of rows. Now, we can overcome this by adding rows of data one at a time to our dataset and by skipping the empty rows. On screen is our updated example with this new and improved version of the load CSV function.